Welcome back to the Creative Artistic Showcase. I am Jamel Calhoun. My next guest is a comedian, actor, and a book artist. I'd like you guys to welcome Charles Randolph.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to could do interviews of a comedian. This is the first. So can you tell me a joke right off the bat?
Joke right off the bat. Okay, you know my last name's Randolph, right? The way you remember it, back when the slave days, my great granddad was on the plantation. He escaped, and so when the slave master came looking for him, he asked the other slave, "Hey, where'd that guy go?" He's like, "Master, he done ran off." So
that's he done ran off. Okay, that was a good one. That was a good one. So, how long have you been doing comedy?
It's about 2 years. I do a lot of some open mics. I don't get to do it as much as I like to, but yeah, I've done that, and it's been exciting because the Kansas City scene is growing quite a bit. And then it made me want to produce this film coming up. You know, that's the open mics. So because I go to these open mics and see a lot of these great comedians. Like, hey, we can make our own film with this, and so that's what's inspired me to do this film that we got coming up this summer.
So, this film that you're doing, this film project, is it like a stand-up type of film?
Kind of like a comedy special.
Like the way Eddie Murphy used to do them, like in the '80s, and people recorded, and then they resell them and stuff like that.
That was kind of the goal. But I wanted a little bit of a plot line to it. Okay. Like his is like a straight like comedy show, whereas this my character is trying to become a great comedian, trying to get a part of a talent agency, and so then he auditions and he goes to these different open mics to try to improve his skill. But you see, like, it kind of kills two birds with one stone. You see a lot of the local comedians, perform, but then also you have, the plot of me trying to make it into this audition. I take after a couple of tries and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So is it like a play in type of comedy type of? Is it like what elements are in this film?
Yeah, it's you'll see like just different shows, different comedy shows where my character goes up and then he performs with a couple of other comedians and so forth. And we did perform you just like you would see at an open mic, but you see him trying to progress throughout the film, and then eventually auditioning again for that company. You'll see in the last scene, you'll see it's an audition for different types of artists. You'll see poetry, you'll see a rap artist, and you see some models, and then some comedians. So we have, in the last part, you'll see a big variety. The main purpose of it is like this lady's company that she has, this talent agency that we're all trying to pursue, a spot in.
Okay. Yeah. And when does that project get released?
It's going to be late July, early August is when we'll be having that. I'm aiming toward the Screenland Armor Theater. I can't set a date yet because I have to give I can't book beyond 30 days with them. So it's just around that time, and I'll be posting updates and so forth like that we have that set up for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start doing comedy in front of people? I know a lot of people, they start out with stage fright, and they kind of got to wiggle and work themselves through being in front of the stage or being in front of the camera or being in front of the eyes of people. So how did that start for you?
Well, as a kid, of course, I grew up listening to Jeff Foxworthy, Jim Carrey, and stuff like that. And back in fifth grade, we would have these little performances we could do. I did this one-man show where, I was pretending to be Jim Carrey the Mask back in '94, or I was Barney, he got shot up and stuff like that, just crazy, little funny plays. And it actually, the crowd, the class was loving it, so forth. And just I performed, as a dancer for years and whatnot, through high school. Yeah, you used to teach and that kind of thing.
You used to teach dance?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of dance?
I taught hip hop. I also took like modern and ballet, but I did hip hop, like Usher and Michael were my favorite people and so forth. So
okay.
Yeah, I loved them. And then so just did that for years. Went to New York one time for it. The Ailey School, Alvin Ailey.
Yeah. They had programs here in Kansas City a while ago.
Yeah. And I worked them in the office, but I got to go to their summer intensive program at their school. It's easier for guys to get in than girls because women, there's a dime a dozen for dancers. For guys, there's not as many, so the competition's not as hard. But yeah, I got to do that for a summer for about 7 weeks back in 2006. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, just performing in different aspects throughout, either be that. And then so a couple years ago, when you're grown up and working and just trying to survive, and pay your bills, this, that, I didn't have the luxury of doing that as much, but then I was like, man, I kind of want to go do that just for fun. So I went to the open mic at the Bird Comedy Theater, years ago, just to give it a shot. I was taking dance classes at Dance Fit Flow and wanted to do some comedy. And it's like, man, you get a rush. It's really fun.
Uh-huh.
And then so I was like, over the year or so, just kind of dabbled in it. And I was like, man, I really want to do something fun with this. So started making my own comedy shows, like at the Vault in the downtown library, and then or at the Coffee at the Delaware, stuff like that. And then I got the idea to do a movie when I was a extra at Clowns at the Funeral with Will Carter.
Will Carter.
Yeah. And then I was trying to find opportunities to be an extra other places. So I was like, wait a second, I've got a film company here with his.
Mm-hmm.
I can use my own money and make my own film.
There you go.
And just like the guy that played George Costanza, his name Jason Alexander, he said nowadays instead of waiting for your opportunity, you make your own.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I've been doing to just that's why I wanted to produce my own film. Mm-hmm. And then give other people some opportunities versus them just trying to happen to go to a million auditions just to try to get a spot somewhere.
I mean, that's how it's really done on on the indies doing things. You just gotta be able to make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So do you plan on doing more comedy and like films and more stand-ups and more shows and maybe even branching off and working with a bunch of other people and y'all do like this person come out this point,
mm-hmm.
crack these jokes, and then the next person come out, they crack these jokes, and then the main event come out, something like that?
Yeah, I want to because the thing we did that Bridge and the Gap thing with the theater and film crew a couple months ago at the college. And mm-hmm. I think there's opportunities to like one help promote some of these film companies that we have in town,
mm-hmm.
but also promote some of the comedians because instead of the comedians having to go to New York, and then compete in that aspect, we could make our own films and our own specials here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we literally can. Like we've got the Kaufman Theater, which is a beautiful theater, or Midland, or wherever you want to call it. Whichever one you want to do. You have, professional film companies that are just as qualified as the other places. They just don't have the funding because they're independent.
Yep.
And you have comedians that I can name a few: Ryan Tricky, Aaron Scarborough, Maddie Stansick, just to name a few. Walter Battle. That if you put them on stage, they can make a great, size crowd laugh, and they've got the skill. Just the exposure. They just don't have the exposure. Like
mm-hmm.
there are comedians that are just as good, if not better. Some of the ones you see on TV, it says they had a wider. Yes.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me shut this door.
Oh,
I'm trying to make it semi-quieter.
Oh, okay. No worries. Thank you, Jeremy. Sorry about that. We have the opportunities with that they're just as good as those ones that you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They're just and they just need the opportunity. Just the same. No different than the music industry. You have rap artists and singers that they may be just as good as people that get produced. They just haven't made it to the bigger companies or gotten the networking to be able to get there. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going after. Yeah. That's my goal. I really want to. For me personally, like I've ventured into writing books, which I'll talk about. I wrote a kids book. It was first to start out as a joke with my coworkers, but it actually, when I was writing about it, there was some good content that was, something kids can enjoy. I've got a copy of the cover. It's called Armando Jar Bear. I've got two coworkers. One's named Armando, the other name's Jared. I nicknamed him Jar Bear just for fun.
Okay.
And so he saves the day. Always is building. We have to fix machines, and we were a production for flour. And he comes and he kind of saves the day and he has this flashlight that he always uses. So it's called his magic flashlight. They're best buddies. So that's the premise of the book. And so I've got, some of the coworkers, which they laugh because this is male dominated industry. This is the flour mill. You don't see people coming in and doing open mics and doing, writing kids books about coworkers. That's kind of cheesy for them, but it's funny because they're like, this is something different.
I mean, Arthur started as a book, so.
What's that?
Arthur, show that was on PBS.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so yeah.
No, yeah, and that's the goal, because I was like, I want to get it into a cartoon and possibly a musical. Like, I have a song, like a theme song for them. I'm not a musician, but I know people that are musicians and singers that I guarantee you that I will walk barefoot to Nebraska if I'm wrong. If I played this song, if I got the right people in it, it would actually be a hit. Just like some of the the musicals that are famous and stuff like that. Like, I know what would reach the audience. So that's what I'm working on.
It's like one of them guilty pleasure songs that people still, they act like they don't listen to, but they listen to.
Yeah, it's like the cheesy kid song that's like, it'll course market to younger crowd, but the older folks will like it, but they're not going to bump it in their car with their
because that's what Jack Black been doing. That's all he been doing, is making these little cheesy kid songs.
Yeah.
And then it blows up on social media.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Like, I guarantee, I am 100% confident that we have the ability here in town with people, and because it's almost like it's kind of insulting a little for people to go farther away to find talent, as if the stuff at home is not good enough.
Yes.
Like when people go to find actors from Britain to take roles, when we have the people that are just as qualified here.
And we're getting more opportunities here in Kansas City when it comes to, we have Kansas City and Missouri when it comes to doing productions here, like that tax credit incentive. I'm sure you heard of that. I mean, I would say that should open some opportunities. I mean, because people are not just not going to, places in America to shoot. They'll skip over Los Angeles nowadays and go shoot over in the UK because they might find it cheaper that way. So, I mean, us taking advantage of the opportunities that we have here is a big thing. So how does the song go?
I'm not gonna sing it. No, because I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't even have it copyrighted yet, and I don't.
Okay, that's smart.
I don't.
That's smart.
I don't have the instruments, and I'm not the singer that's gonna make it actually. I'm not gonna do it justice. So once I get the instruments and the deal, I promise you, I want to when I showcase it, I want to first have it copyrighted, but two, have it to where it's like, oh, you can really sound good. Because like if I sing "Man in the Mirror," my favorite song right now, you'd be like, that song sucks. But then you actually hear a good artist sing it. "Man in the Mirror" by Michael. Yeah. If
music and stuff on it.
Yeah, if you actually hear the music, you actually hear someone that actually carry a tune. Then you're like, oh, that's a really nice song. So I want to make sure I do it justice. But
so the song isn't in the book.
No, the song's not in the book. No,
that's the story in the book.
Yeah, I'm going to do a series of books with these characters where, like this one, he builds Armando a home, and it talks about, that Armando starts out homeless, and then he's very sad. It's a rhyming story, and then Jar Bear comes and fixes it up. For example, one line is like, Armando needs help from someone who cares, so he calls the town hero, and his name is Jar Bear. So that's kind of how the book goes, and it's an activity book, so where kids can color in and that kind of thing. I sent it off to the printers. I have to fix my cover, so there's gonna be a lot better looking border to it. They want it wider, so that way it can bleed off on the side versus have a weird edge and stuff like that. So that's what I've been working on this weekend. But I guarantee you, once that thing hits and I get some more books put out, then it's gonna be fun. We have some other characters, like there's a dog named Jamie. She's country, because I have a coworker that's really country from Mississippi. She eats banana and mayonnaise sandwiches. So she actually did, like the real person actually did, which I think
That's strange.
Yeah. So and then it's but yeah, so that just piggybacking off of some of my coworkers, and with their permission, obviously, and so making these characters after that, so it could be something that's entertaining to the crowd, but also I've got already content for it. So
you relate to it more.
Yeah.
And you put the work in the art.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you also do the illustrations for it?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did, because I grew up loving to draw, and one of the guy Armando, he has a kid that he gave the book, the little sample copy I made for him. He gave it to his kid. She brought it to school, and the teacher actually read it to the whole class, and they loved it. But yeah, this is Yeah, so Armando's the possum, and
Hmm.
Jar Bear's the bear. So
Okay, I've never seen. Well, you don't see that many possum characters. I mean, over the hedge. I think they used the possum in their story, and
uh-huh.
Ice Age they used the possum character. So you don't really see many possum characters. So
Yeah, and I gave him a motto. He's like, "My name's Armando, and I'm a possum. I'm a marsupial, so that makes me awesome." So that's
okay,
yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry, we're gonna say.
no, you good.
Uh,
How many of these books do you have? Is just one book so far, or are you gonna make like a continuation
yeah, make it
stories?
continuation. It's the first the cost of getting them printed and stuff like that. It's because I just sent them to the printers, and so you have to make with this printer you have to make a minimum of 100. So I'm
Mm,
trying to get that sold out, but I have another book in that same series that I'm just working on the illustrations for and finishing up
mm,
because it's the tough part. The hardest part for me is the drawing, the taking the time to draw it out and this that kind of thing, and
mm,
that's what's taking the most time. The story that comes quickly, that's easy, but actually drawing it out and getting it to where it looks good to where I can submit it to a printer. That's what's taking time. So but it's bet when I make it an activity book, it helps out, as far as cost, but also for the kids, they can color in so they can get active, so it helps me and helps them. So,
Oh, so are you gonna make like coloring books to go with it or something?
yeah, I made this an activity book. Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
I would draw the character without any color and then say color in, and then like draw a tool here, or stuff like that. So, uh,
Do you do a word search in it too? You gonna throw a word search in it with the character names?
I should do that. I did not think of that.
I mean, because that kind of reminds me of like the stuff that I used to do as kids and the stuff that they would put in the activities or
Mm-hmm.
the programs with the cartoons on it and stuff like that, and you would do the word searches and stuff. So I think that'd be fun too.
Good. Thanks. See that great. I'm gonna write that down because that's a good idea. I want to make sure any good ideas I can get.
Mm,
Do a word search. I want to make this thing good. I have full confidence in it. Plus, it's from showing people, and they've had the people that had no reason to like say, oh yeah, they don't know me, so it's not like they
mm-hmm.
have any allegiance, but they've loved it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm working on, and
Yeah.
and the goal you were talking about, like with some of these movies, this that kind of thing. I want to get it to where I can have a substantial income from my art to
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not destroying myself for another company day in day out. Because one, if I want to put in a lot of work 6 7 days a week, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be the person that gets the main profit. Might as well, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bust my tail for someone else to get rich. It'd be like if I go to work 12 hours a day, bring home groceries, so my girl can, if I had a girl, it's so she can go date somebody else. You'd be like, I'm working for someone else.
Hey, some of them doing that right now.
Yeah, so I don't want, I don't want to live that kind of life,
Uh-huh.
And she comes out and is like, yeah, can you go get us some more pie, like, and then the guy's telling her like, oh, you're doing a good job, man, and you're feeling like the biggest jerk on earth because you're your girl's with somebody else, and yeah, so yeah,
I seen some wild stuff about that.
yeah,
But yeah, so getting like I would say you would need what, a 2D animator to work on, or however they could bring those characters to life.
yeah. Like and if you have ideas, because I want to. Big thing is I want to collaborate with people to
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to promote this, because I think this in particular, like I love stand up comedy. I love movies, this, that kind of thing. But I have full faith in like this is just as good as anything, with obviously work put behind it. I'm not telling you right now, but with work put behind it and the right people,
Mm-hmm.
that this can be just as good as one of those Disney productions that they put out. The concept is good, and
Mm-hmm.
we have the talent. Let's work together to make this into something that can be one day an animated movie or a live action movie.
Mm-hmm. Would
But
you play one of the characters in one of the?
yeah, I have I'm the fox. Like
The fox.
yeah, like there's
You didn't bring any illustrations on the fox.
I left it
It's
I left it in the car because the book's not all put together yet, so I didn't want to show something that was kind of looking tacky or whatever. But
Oh.
I've got the since to let you know about some of the other characters. I talked about the dog Charlie the fox. He's kind of down on his luck, so he comes out, he's wanting to go to the market, and his car won't start, and then it has much stuff wrong with it. Then he gets fired from his job, and and Jar Bear's got to come save the day. There's Virgil, a guy at my job, older guy, 60 something, and he's
So all these are characters based off of people you know.
yeah. Virgil's the horse of knowledge, and then so a couple others I'm trying to think of. So yeah, no, it's just I ask people like at work, it's like, hey, do you want to be a part of this book? You know, what character you want? One guy wants to be a sloth. Why someone wants to be a sloth, I don't know, but it's just kind of it's funny to them, because it's these guys are into what regular adult dudes talk about. So when you see someone come with a kid's book who's like the cheesiest thing, it's funny to them. But it's supposed to be something fun, and it's supposed to be a good escape because work itself, that can just a lot of times some people that can just be. It can drive you nuts. You're busting your tail day in day out. You're exhausted, and someone else is getting rich off of you, off of your work, and you just kind of feel like you're circling yourself. Versus now you have an outlet where even if the money's not there right away, it's just the release of fun and creativity, and get something that you can be proud of your own,
and something you can work with others on, network and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
Grow together.
Would you be like if I am working toward a film or something of that, would you be open to
help voicing a character or something like that?
Yeah.
I could look into that, voicing a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you, it's gonna be once you see it. I know I'm not giving a whole lot right now, but once you see the product that I'm talking about, you'll understand. Because I've had, like I've mentioned, I did dance. I have experience in theater, so I know about.
Does your character dance?
Not in the book, but in the theater, in the musical, we will. Yeah, because everyone they'll have the joint songs together. There's gonna be a ballad. There's the catchy tune to that everyone loves. There will be the goofy song like the Country Woman, like I told you about bananas, and I'm trying to think of a song about bananas and mayonnaise sandwiches. And then one part she'll say, I ate some roadkill and it was a possum, and then the possum gets pissed at her or stuff like that. So that was kind of the I don't know if you've ever eaten possum before, but
people eat possum. People eat coon.
Mm-hmm.
People eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, I've never had it.
Fried roaches and
You've had possum before?
No, good night. The worst thing I've ever had was chitlins.
Chitlins.
Yeah, I had that. I remember in the mid-90s, and that was the worst smell ever, and I'm never gonna eat that again. So.
You gave me stuff. You had duck before?
Yeah, I love duck. Duck's
is
good.
I eat duck.
But chitlins, yeah, no, I can't. Do you like chitlins?
No.
Okay. I didn't know how backwoods you were, so I didn't know if like you had goat or.
I'll eat a goat.
Really?
You don't like goat?
I've never had it. Is it good?
It's delicious.
Oh,
you gotta go to one of these Jamaican spots. They got it. I love some curry goat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll check that out. I trust your judgment, but fried roaches, I don't know.
I'm not touching that. I don't know where that came. Fried roaches, I won't eat that.
Yeah.
I won't eat no crickets. I know they do in some countries, but not here. I'm not eating that.
Or like brain. Someone had a brain sandwich. Like the German talking about they had a brain sandwich.
Some places they eat the cow brains and the lungs and Definitely monkey brains.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, they eat them in Africa, and I think they eat them in China too. Yeah, the monkey brains. I'm not making it up, but yeah, I mean, I don't think we can go to like Target and get it or Sunfresh or whatever. But yeah, no, that's they do that. So I look at all the exotic, the bull dick and onions is a southern delicacy. Yeah. So I've obviously never tried that, but that's just something just so you know. So I was having a debate with somebody about what's the craziest thing they've eaten, heard someone eat, and all those things I mentioned. Someone mentioned cow tongue. You get all kinds of.
No, I don't get too wild with the food. I don't get too wild. I like to eat stuff, but not none of the brains and roaches and crickets and worms, like on the boogeyman or something.
Yeah. Pig. I've heard people eat pig feet. It's someone told me that she grew up. She's autistic. That she loved it. Her mom had it in a pickle jar or whatever, pig feet. And she said, I guess autistic people that they lack the vinegar, something of their intestines that they need that, so that's why it tasted good. That's what she told me.
Autistic people like pig feet?
Well, that they like the vinegar. The vinegar tastes good. That she said something of that nature, so that's why she loved the the pig feet in the jar because it tastes good because of the vinegar or something like that.
So like pickled pig feet.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh no.
But yeah, I'm good on that. But yeah, just something she taught me. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So
I mean, people used to, live off the land and eat stuff like that, and
yeah, because we say that now. Like if we lived in the middle of the woods or something like that, our taste would change greatly.
yeah, like some people they eat like that because they kind of develop those habits of not having refrigeration and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they just, hey, they see a live something and they just grab it and nah, I can't live off the land. I can't eat no raccoon and no possum. No, I draw the line. I will be searching for berries and everything else. So with the stand-ups, when did you kind of like gain a level of confidence like in it? Like did you like I can just go out, I could be out there over an hour just saying stuff, having the people live. When did you gain that confidence to do that?
It's I actually, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm sure you've seen on the internet how crazy dating has been on for folks, how it's really bad. Well, I've gained confidence through that, where through failure, and I'll explain. Years ago, there was someone we were dating. We went on a couple of dates, and it was going really well. Like she was having a great time, this that kind of thing. And out of the blue, she sent a text like oh, I something that we're on a different emotional level or something like that, and just broke it off. Like she would ask, when we were dating, ask all these long, deep questions and this, that kind of thing, and then out of nowhere, like, oh, it's just not gonna work out, and then text, and then that's it. And I mean, of course, it was irritating because things were going well. I was putting all the effort, this, that kind of thing, planning these great dates, and the thing is, what it told me is like, you know what, I could do everything right and things still not turn out. So there's no point in me being nervous, because even if I excel and do everything I'm supposed to, it cannot go well. Same on stage. You can come and have a great, set of jokes. Depending on the crowd, a lot of times they can, if they can't relate to it, it's not gonna matter. You know what I mean? Like if I tell you, like there's a really good comedian I know named Joe Paul, that his comedy is kind of, that I've seen, that is geared toward kind of the rocker, trucker, driver, kind of Caucasian, male kind of deal, and like and kind of that demographic. I'm not saying he's not diverse. I'm just talking about this set that he did. And so one time he did it in front of this crowd, this group of black folks that I had never heard of, these people that he's talking about. And it just, no one could laugh because they didn't know who he was talking about. Not his delivery was the exact same. So a night later, he goes to the comedy club with mostly different demographic, and he kills it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not that he did anything wrong the first night. It's just it could just not, may not be your night. It could, that different crowd, whatever it is. And so that takes the pressure off to where, hey, even if I'm Chris Rock has bombed before, Bill Burr has bombed before, even the greats, even later in their careers. So when you get to the point of, I don't care if you laugh or not. I mean, deep down, of course, I want you to, but I have to have that mental pressure taken off of, hey, it's going to go how it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you've ever been on dates before with a person, she already had decided ahead of time if she's going to go on the second date with you. She's there for a free meal. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's happened. I had a girl one time come to a date late. I'm just saying. She came to the date late, and then she went and took a dump. And the reason I know that is because when she came back to the table, I could smell it. Then she got ordered a bunch of food, got 5 to-go boxes, and took food off of my plate to take home.
And you paid for it?
Yeah.
And you do it for the free meal.
Yeah, it made for good comedy, content. But it's like, at the end of the day, you can do nothing but laugh about it.
Mm.
I did the best I could, whatever like that. And it is funny in hindsight. And it's that's, you come from the confidence of, hey, I go out there. The fact that I have the confidence to go try means everything. Also, there's going to come a day when you can't do it anymore. There's going to come a day when life, you get old, this, that kind of thing. So you might as well cherish these opportunities. Obviously prepare and do the best you can, but let the pressure of being perfect go and enjoy the moment.
All right, and let's
see who is on deck. It's going to be Red. I'm going to pop out there and let him know. But coming up next, put your hands together for Charles Randolph.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, I was going to say nice shirt. I don't know what material that is, but that's only cotton I picked. That's really nice.
Oh,
You said you never seen anyone, but
Oh, I have seen. You said you have never seen.
I've never seen anybody
Oh,
bomb at a comedy show. Because I'd like to see how people handle it when, you know, people aren't laughing at the joke or people. Because if it was me on stage and people start heckling and turning against me, I'm going to turn on the audience.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to just grab the mic and I'm just going to start talking about everybody in the audience. I'm like, I've been waiting for this day. Don't give me the ammunition. I'm going to take it.
I think the worst, you know, one of the worst, like, I've seen it where it's been just silent, and the guy, he was opening for one of the professionals, like, and it just was silent, you know, and it can be awkward. You have to just kind of have a not give a crap kind of mentality. It don't get me wrong, it does hurt. For example, the time I bombed at the Crave, and I even asked people, you know, what kind of humor they like. They said dark humor. Well, with the crowd that I hang around with, I can't put too much emphasis on dark humor because
I mean, you got kids book.
yeah. So I
can't go too far, dog.
You know, that's not gonna work for me. So my jokes were a little too cheesy. Like, for example, I told about the time where I was at the gym and I was working out next to my gym crush. I wanted to ask her out, but I saw that she could deadlift more than me, so I got scared and left. And that's the true story. And so usually people, you know, they love that joke, but then you could see this one lady just like, and they just kind of, and then these other couple that was just talking the whole time, and it just wasn't landing. And it's obviously it's weird because you're used to some stuff. You're used to, oh, people laugh at this all the time, and so you don't know what to do. Thankfully, my buddy came and saved the day. I had him get on stage, but it's a humbling experience when you go and you bomb.
So do you have like a set of jokes that you use around different demographics? For example, like jokes that you would use around black people. Jokes you use around, I mean, I think it's a blend. You can use both of them, but sometimes.
Oh yeah, there is for this is a little racist, but sometimes we dig at our own race just for fun. Like if and this one backfired on me when I went out there and there's a bunch of black people out there. I was like, man, there's a lot of black people in here. I can just feel my credit score going down. And so, they were not happy with that.
Yeah.
You know, and then of course with the white crowd, I was like, there's a lot of whites here. I just feel my credit score going up. I said that. I for the black people one time, like, you know, black people, you guys rude. You guys call me Dan all the time. It's like, you know, what does Dan mean? This means dusty. Yeah, and so and then what was I gonna say for the God? I lost my Oh yeah, like if this one, I guess kind of either or, but more black crowd. Like I say, oh, that's a nice shirt. Yeah, I don't know what material it is, but that's the only cotton I'd like to pick. And so that's some of the stuff I do. But yeah, like it's I feel you know, some crowds you can, you know, if they seem, depending on the crowd, like if it seems like a real uptight kind of white crowd, you know, then I'm a little more cheesier, closer to the vest, versus if it's kind of a loose crowd, then, you know, yeah.
Because what I see what comedians do, they base a lot of their jokes in reality. Like, you can hear some of the stuff that they say about certain trials that are going on. I'm not going to say any names, but trials and stuff like that are going on, and they crack a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah.
Some of them, they crack jokes about politics and stuff like that. Sometimes it pisses people off. Yeah. And then sometimes people just take it as a joke.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I try to stay away from politics. Like, some are really good at it, and they just, you can't make everyone happy. But it's you know, some that their delivery is so good that they can pretty much make any crowd laugh. There's some that you know, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like me. My favorite comedian personally is Kevin Hart. Like, I've never laughed or felt I can't describe the feeling, but being live at his shows, like the one at Starlight last year, it was just a whole lot of fun. Like, I've enjoyed the other comedians, don't get me wrong, but his, for me, is the most enjoyable.
He's your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite all time. And it's
He's your GOAT.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like, no, I won't say he's the GOAT. Like,
He's your GOAT.
yeah. For me, yeah. Like, it's no one's gonna be able to touch him in my world, because like when I went to Laugh at My Pain back 14 years ago, that's one of the only movies that I actually went to twice. And the funny thing is, I was dating a white girl at the time, and she was the only white person in the whole theater. So she was looking around like, "What the hell?" You know, like getting side looks from black girls, and but the black people were all just dying, cracking up at the movie. But she was just kind of, it felt awkward for her. Fast forward, we went to like this miniature golf thing at like a Catholic charity event, and I was the only black guy and a black person, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't even notice." It's like, "Oh, okay." It seems interesting how one of the shoes on the other foot, but no, he's I really enjoy his comedy, and it's God, I don't know how to describe it, but his delivery is hilarious. I've seen Dave Chappelle, love Dave Chappelle, and but yeah, no, it's for your deal. Some comedians like Godfrey, he doesn't change it up based off the crowd. I mean, they've got their stuff. What they may do is, like, in the beginning, they say something based off of that area that could be relatable to the crowd, because it's the first part is like kind of a way to, like, man, when your camera goes out or something like that, stop saying something directly toward you that you can relate to, so that way you guys can build some rapport. Because if the joke can be funny, but if it's not relatable or you don't feel some kind of connection with them, you're not going to really laugh, if it makes sense. So that's one of the things I'm working on doing better at, is being more relatable, because with a lot of adults, I'm not relatable. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't really party or whatever like that. I don't have kids. I know it sounds worse and worse as I go. I've never been married, but which is a lot of adult content that I can't relate to. So but what I can relate to, like work and stuff like that, or exercise and dating, I can talk about. So.
So on average for your shows, like, how long what's like the longest you've been on stage?
Oh, yeah, I'm not that 10 to 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a 15-minute set. So that way that there's a show called The Good Comedy Show at Rewind Video once a month on like the last Thursday or something like that, or second last Thursday, or once or twice a month, however long it is. And I know the guy Terrence Berger, and he said I might be able to do a show with him like late July or August or something like that. So I want to get a 15-minute set on that. I've been working on different material to where when I first started, I was just talking about race stuff, and dating stuff, but I wanted to change it up a bit, and I started talking more. Sorry, my nose kind of stopped up about animals, which it sounds cheesy on it, but I've had some really funny stuff, like
Is that where the inspiration for some of the aspects of the book came
Yeah,
from?
a little bit, some bit, like because animals, like it's a universal thing people can all enjoy, and one joke, like cheetahs, that they actually, when they mate, they have a bunch of cubs, and then the husband leaves, or the male leaves, and then so that's why that wide receiver got the nickname Cheetah. I'm not gonna say his name on your deal, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the joke. So yeah. There's another one that's the African crescent eagle. He's very vicious. He bites the skulls, like crushes the skulls of his prey in the spines. To give you perspective, you know how hard that rapper whose name rhymes with Blake bites off of other rappers? That's how hard they bite, which makes sense because they also prey on children. That's the yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you cracked a Diddy joke at least a couple times.
I haven't. I was gonna do something with dolphins. I'm trying to do something with dolphins because their skin's naturally like moisturized or whatever like that. So that's what I was trying to think of. But I'm gonna get to him eventually. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dark humor. So would you categorize that as the dark humor because it's based deep?
A little
reality?
bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So it's kind of funny because it teaches people. A lot of times I'll teach them a little fact, and then I'll make some kind of crude thing, and so they're not expecting that with talk about animals. You think animals, you think they're fun, but you hear about some of the craziness and stuff like that. So it changes it up. It's just changing it up from the regular predictable humor that you always hear about. That's all I was trying to do. Just trying to do something different.
Do you like rate your material though? Like
Write it?
no, rate it. Like let's just say doing stuff with like where it's curse words, something like that, and then stuff that's like more PG. Like you put ratings out for anything or?
I wouldn't say rated, but I do have. I will say that's like okay. If the humor, if the crowd likes a little more dark humor, I'll gear toward this. If they're real more like conservative, like church, something like that, I'll gear toward this. I wouldn't have it necessarily a rating, but I do kind of categorize it like there's the kind of your main jokes that are the funniest. There's kind of the openers, like little laughs, stuff like that. But I don't curse in my humor. I
Okay.
very 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 rare, know. And
I mean, because I think that like when people do it, it's almost like you're doing it with an element to make people kind of laugh. It's almost like I want to call it like
for emphasis, yeah.
Yeah, for emphasis, yes.
And yeah, no, some people that they're really good about that. There's some folks, some people that I'll just be honest. There's some people that can pull off like slang, and they can pull off the cursing and that kind of thing. But then there's some people that it doesn't fit them. Because one comedian, Steve Hofstetter, told me about how you have to understand how the crowd perceives you. Like the crowd's gonna perceive you and me, differently. If I try to do my comedy like as if I'm you, it's not gonna work. I don't have your personality, I don't have your persona, I don't have your same voice, inflection, stuff like that. Like if a guy with a high pitched voice tries to talk like Tupac, he's not gonna, it's not gonna work, So you have to build off of that. So with me, with kind of the cheesier, cornier humor, that's what I can build off of because that works. That's why I don't spend too much time with the dark humor because it doesn't necessarily fit my personality. Every now and then I'll throw something in just because it changes it up and everything's not predictable. That helps, but I have to go with what I'm good at. It's like a wide receiver versus a fullback. The wide receiver is the fast guy, fullback's the power guy. If they try to switch roles, it won't work.
Okay. Do you have a favorite comedy film that you like that's just like, oh, this is what made me want to do comedy?
Like this movie or a comedy special or either.
Either one.
Okay. My favorite movie ever, I'm pretty sure you probably never heard of it, is Division III Football, or Division III Football's Finest. That's my favorite movie. You have to look that up, but that is my favorite movie ever. It is childish, hilarious, and it's about football, but it's funny. I love it. I forget the name of the guy that's that's the lead actor, but it came out about 2006, somewhere around there. As far as comedy specials, it's between Kevin Hart's Laugh at My Pain or his What Now special from 2015. Those two. Those are I love his recent one, but I don't know what that one's going to come out. But yeah, those two are my if you said you only get to watch one or something like that, those are the main ones. If outside of Kevin Hart, because I put him on the top.
Oh, your Mount Rushmore. So make a Mount Rushmore of comedians for you.
This is easy. Yeah, this is
okay.
Easy.
Easy. Okay.
I'll give you. If I can give you two, I'll give you like as far as like the world of accomplishment, what I think who's the best versus my favorite. As far as for the world of the best, if you say for TV shows, Jerry Seinfeld. If you say for talk shows, Johnny Carson. For movies, Eddie Murphy. For radio, Nephew Tommy.
Oh yeah, I like his pranks.
And then for stand-up, Dave Chappelle. As far as for my favorites, my personal favorites, like if I said give me four, comedians, my Mount Rushmore. Give me a sec. I want to make sure I say this right. Of course, Kevin Hart, Will Ferrell, and Dave Chappelle. And then trying to think who else would even though he's not the very PG person, Louis C.K. Like as far as like dying laughing is those guys. I love Will Ferrell. Not stand up with his movies, but yeah, if you said you have 4 comedians that you get to listen to, those would be my 4.
Nice. I think that was some good selections.
Yeah. It's I would, as far as for accomplishments, I would have a. To me, you'd have a harder time saying anyone in movies has done better than Eddie Murphy. I don't know the numbers. I could be wrong.
No, he done a lot of
Yeah.
major comedic projects.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got it. He's a true legend. He's a true legend in the game.
And like as far as when I said for TV for Jerry Seinfeld, you gotta look at the careers he impacted.
Does Tyler Perry go in that category for comedy? Do you put Tyler Perry there for comedy? Somewhat, because I mean he writes some of the material that's on like House of Pain, and then the Medea characters.
Yeah, I mean, I think he,
Is Tyler Perry a comedian?
Oh no, he's funny. I just
You wouldn't classify him as a comedian?
no, I would. I'm just saying if you said Mount Rushmore, like
I didn't say you gotta put the Medea head on.
Yeah. As far as he's comedian, he's funny. His stuff's funny. I was thinking of him more film producer, but he's in director or whatever. But yeah, no, his stuff is definitely funny. I could
he does a bit of everything.
Yeah, like sketch comedy. I think he would
TVs, plays,
Uh-huh.
movies. Yeah, he done a bit of everything.
Yeah, I think as far as like if I were to go and watch one person by themselves and do something like as far as for him, because I would put him more in the sketch comedy stuff since he's got the character or whatnot like that. Him or Jim Carrey or Frank Caliendo or Damon Wayans, someone in those categories. Or Eddie Murphy was great in that stuff too. But yeah, that's who I would. That's where I would place him. But I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about him as far as
being.
Yeah. But he's been super successul, and some people have. Some people they say change up your movies. Well, if I was a billionaire doing this formula, I would do this. I would do that.
And when I said, hey, if it's working for him, and he's still got people watching his materials, and he's still getting all these major deals with businesses, hey,
yeah,
I ain't even mad at him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't. People, we all wish we could be half as successful where you can just do just that as your day-to-day stuff. That's what I would love to do.
Are you a Steve Harvey fan?
Yeah.
I know he's good nowadays with reactions. Like if somebody says some off the wall stuff,
yeah.
He can just do a face and it.
Oh yeah, he can.
That's what he sells.
Yeah, he does the same. He does that. The survey says, "Oh, he said, yeah." He does that stuff. Yeah.
I used to watch his stuff in the 90s. His,
oh yeah,
90s Steve Harvey show.
Yeah, his that that show was really good when he said he ran away like he was as happy as a slave that got handed his freedom papers. Mm-hmm. So I sometimes say that when it's time to clock out. I want to give honorable mention to Martin Lawrence, obviously, because when he was on Def Comedy Jam, I mean, he was just in his TV show, he was killing it. I mean, I didn't like anything after that, but back then when he could roast people like as far as like roast comedy, like people that just
he was the funniest.
Him and Kevin Hart are the best of that.
Bernie Mac was one of my favorites too.
Oh yeah,
Bernie. Oh my goodness, he was. I love the show. Do you just watch the show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bernie Mac show. Mm-hmm. I used to watch all those sitcoms.
Hates Chris and stuff like that.
Hates Chris, My Wife and Kids, all that. So would you ever want to branch off to doing this like a sitcom?
I wish, yeah. I wish. That's really hard to do, but that's like a lot of them have been built their way up through the stand-up comedy game and been network and stuff like that, and it's for me myself that takes like 10 years plus whatever, or the ones that are super great at it, because like for example we talk about Bernie Mac,
yes, and
Godfrey. When they're coming up in Chicago, they would do 4 or 5 open mics a night, and then on the weekends do 8, 9, or 10 a night.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was their life, people, until years came by where they got those opportunities. Mm-hmm. For me, that would be so difficult to do. Well, I would love to, I have more. Basically what I'm saying is I have more control with my book, with writing my own.
And they work like every day, pretty much, don't they?
As far as like nowadays, or
Well, how like the TV sitcom process works.
that I don't really know. I'd have to ask. I'm not too.
Too familiar with it.
Yeah.
Because they shoot what about every season's like 20, 23 episodes a season. So
Yeah, I'm not sure how that goes about. But yeah, it would be cool. But that's the competition for that and the opportunities for that. Like the guy that played Cole, Anthony Payne, the guy that played Cole on Martin, Carl Anthony Payne, I think his name is. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like he talked about the story about when he went to the Cosby Show to audition, and he missed out by one person. On his way out, he saw a bunch of homeless teenagers that all had gotten one-way tickets to Hollywood, chasing a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people see the success stories, but they don't see the people behind the scenes, people that didn't make it.
Yeah. That stuff sounds good. And it's like nowadays, I would say to want opportunities like that, you really gotta work super hard for it nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think that more than any time, like we don't live in the 90s, we live in 2025. Our resources, our technology, events that typically go on in all type of aspects. I think it's best to take advantage of them for any type of creative, comedian, actor, singer, dancer, anything.
Yeah, like there I would say there are far more opportunities now because there's more outlets for media and stuff like that. But it's like just like I said, Jason Alexander said, I would create my own. I have more control over it. I can make my own deal. I have full as far as what's the creativity as far as no one can tell me what to do.
Yeah, you got yourself your own ownership of it.
Yeah. And so now the tough part is making the profit off of it. But even if, because I have my main income and I'm working on other sources of income, even if it's not as profitable as if I were to be side role in someone else's film, I'm going to enjoy this more because this is my own project.
Yeah.
And so that's what I encourage people to do is to start your own stuff. You'll hear a lot of people that say, man, these people aren't paying me this, or this is not, let me create my own, and I want to now do better than them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I this is not to be cocky or nothing like that, but I look at some of the movies that are on at a movie theater, and I'm like, I don't want to see any of these. I went to go see a superhero movie a while back, and it was complete garbage. Now, I wish I could have had, if I had the funding for something like that, there's so much creativity out there that's not made.
Which one was it, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Am I allowed to say it on your?
I mean, if you want to give your honest opinion on something, that's fine.
Oh yeah, it was Captain America. Yeah, like I said.
You don't like the Black Captain America?
It was horrible. Like it was They used a lot of money in special effects to overcompensate. It wasn't that, no.
Well,
and it wasn't about him being black or not. Like a lot of people.
I know it was just an open joke.
Yeah, no. I know that. I'm just saying like a lot of times in Hollywood, people make it an emphasis to like, oh, we're gonna make the Little Mermaid black. We're gonna make April from the Ninja Turtles mixed and stuff like that, and they make it a point to focus on their race when we're trying to focus on the
story.
And people get like black folks will get excited about, oh, we got a black princess whoever. And like, why can't we make our own character?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to copy off of somebody else's character? Make our own character and make it better. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's too many remakes that it's like Hollywood's gotten lazy, and when there's all these creative scripts that don't even get looked at, but then there's these old stuff that we just try to regenerate, and it's like you can think of something else. You know what I mean?
Do you think there's people out there who be AI and jokes?
AI and joke. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they. Yeah.
Make some.
Like just type in something like and the computer makes the jokes.
Yeah, can you make me 10 jokes about apples or America?
Yeah. There's people that there's people that do that. And there's people that steal jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they use. I've seen clips of some of the pros stealing some of the. Dane Cook with Louis C.K. There's an interview about him when Louis C.K. Confronts him,
Mm-hmm.
and there's guys that they made it big by biting off other people's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this people will do whatever they can to move up, and they don't care. That's why sometimes I'm like careful. I don't think my stuff is super, just groundbreaking, but there's sometimes like I won't say it at open mic because there's been people at open mics, very rare, but those still, one guy will come up and say, "Hey, I was going to use this joke, but so and so just stole it," So
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be careful. Bernie Mac actually did a interview saying like, "Hey, don't use your best stuff at open mics because other comedians, especially the established ones, will steal it." And they'll make it theirs before you ever even make it big.
He did a whole episode of that on his show where Chris Rock's character has stole this joke.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I remember that episode vividly. Yes, he stole this joke and it was funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Has somebody that stole your joke?
Oh no, I'm not
No.
that. I'm not remotely important enough for still jokes, but it's very 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 rare. Like the comedians in the KC County world that I've seen, they got their own stuff. They write their own deal. So it's that's super super rare. But there are times when like established ones they'll see somebody that's not known. This is music too.
Mm-hmm.
They'll steal their stuff. They're well known. People are like, oh, that's great, not knowing that they got it from somebody that you never heard of, which is unfortunate. Which I would be peeved if I was an unknown artist, starving, trying to move up.
Mm-hmm.
I create something great, somebody steals it and makes it theirs, and they've already got millions in the bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, what are some besides the book and the film project that you have coming? What are some projects you got coming after that, or what are some things that you hope to your audience to look out for?
Yeah, like the book. The book is gonna be my big focus after this. Like this movie. Next year, I want to do another movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're really hard for me to do because it costs a lot. Will cost a lot for me, not in the big scheme of things, but for me. But I want to build off of this book that I got. I want to build it into a cartoon, build it into a musical, and I want to make it into a brand, like to make plush toys out of it and stuff like that. And I 100% believe that could be successful. That's what I want to make my big focus and branch out to different schools. Here's another big reason why. I've seen it happen where people with the adult humor,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be amazing, but it's really hard to get audiences. I mean, there's guys I know that I had a headline set for him when we did the movie here at City House just months ago. He was set the headline. He couldn't make it because of a work problem, whatever. But his friends and family told him like, "Oh yeah, we got tickets already. We're gonna come see you." And when he told me that, he felt bad. I was like, I've got the access to all the tickets. Not one of them purchased a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go after, I don't want to say it like that. If you market your material towards children, you know what I'm saying, and something that they would enjoy and families would enjoy, now the whole family can come.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to get a babysitter. They don't have to, that kind of thing. No one's going to go there and be offended. It can be a whole family atmosphere, and that's what I want to do. I want shows based off of this, comedy shows, hopefully a cartoon or whatever, or a live action show, and eventually a musical / movie or something like that. That's what I want, because I want to build it just like The Lion King did, just like Anastasia or all those things. I want to build something just like that.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank you so much, Charles Randolph.
Thank
It
you.
was a
so
great
much
interview.
Yeah, sorry for the delay. We have someone was doing dishes in the back, but we were
It's
just
all right.
is that gonna outfit us?
Nah, ain't nobody going.
Oh, no. Okay.
They gonna know us now. You said something. They gonna know us. But yeah, you good. But yeah, we look forward to seeing and reading his book, and then also seeing his film that'll be coming out this summer.
Yeah, and the book is called, I didn't even call it. It's called Jar Bear Builds Armando a Home. This is a rough draft, but I'm gonna make I'm making the cover better. But yes, Jar Bear, that's him, builds Armando a home, and then there's gonna be a series of it afterwards. So yeah, and the movie's called Open Mic, It's filmed by Hoot Owl Films with Will Carter. Cheyenne Shepherd's the co-star, so we'll be looking out for that. So, and my Instagram is Charles Randolph 9 is the Instagram. So,
All right. Well, we'll plug his media's in the bio, link bio, whichever one you guys will get it. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Creative Artistic Showcase. See you later.
thank you.